Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to be doing a reaction and review to Toge, the new song by BRATS. Well, new as in it came out in the last couple of months. And as always, if you haven't seen these videos before, I'll just tell you the reaction that I've just done. If you want to watch that, pause this video, which is the review, click the little link in the description below and it'll open a separate YouTube player so you can watch the reaction along with me in case you haven't heard the song before, or if you just want to see the way I react when I first heard it. Either way, here comes the review. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the review? Have you seen the reaction? Have you heard the song? Well, don't say I didn't warn you, because here it comes anyway. This song was not at all what I expected, and that I say that in a positive way. BRATS as a general, they've managed to achieve some fairly different sounding songs, and the few I've heard have been quite different from each other. I think this is the 5th song now we've checked out by BRATS. But there was a certain sense that up until this point they were very much a raw sounding band. And I mean that in a positive way as well. The last song we heard by them, apologies again, I'm really bad at remembering song names. The last song we heard by them though was really sort of had a lot of impact, and it felt like it was kind of had a radio friendly pop value, but it was still sort of in that raw, energetic rock way. It was kind of more like a rock anthem. And then the first couple of songs we heard by them were really sort of, barreling along quite, fast, hard rock songs. So there was a sense that it was all kind of in that direction, but obviously it takes a few songs to get a feel for a band, and I'm glad to hear a bit more variation here. This song, although still being definitely a rock song, the sound kind of reminded me very much of Band-Maid's new Conqueror album. It felt like this song would really have slotted in perfectly on that album. There obviously is the difference in the musical style from the way Band-Maid would have played it and the way BRATS played it. I tend to find that BRATS tend to go for a very stripped down approach to playing, in that it's not overly technical, but it's more impactful. As I said with the most recent song as well, they tend to go for the most impact, and I think that's actually quite an endearing quality. But at the same time, as I said at the beginning of the reaction, it can lead you to that situation where they're very good at doing certain big sounding songs, but maybe don't forge enough of their own sound. They're very good at doing established sounds, but maybe don't forge enough of their own sound. And again, I must say that although I'm pleased that this adds a little bit of extra variation to what we've heard from them, maybe the most negative thing I would say, and we're always on this channel and give a bit of positive and negative feedback, maybe the most negative thing I would say is that I still, after hearing now quite a handful of songs by them, I'm still not entirely sure that I would say they have a sound that I would regard as recognisable, whereas some other bands, to point out again, bands like Band-Maid, even if they do a fair variation of songs, you always kind of know it's them. So maybe I just need to hear more of these guys, who knows, but that's maybe the one criticism I would most level at this point, and it's not really a criticism of this song, it's just more a thing about maybe me getting to know the band, who knows. However, concentrating more directly on this song, it does have, as I mentioned before, again in the reaction, it has a fantastic melody. It's really catchy melody. And what seems to have happened here is they seem to have taken this nice, catchy melody that goes round and just, you can't help but get it stuck in your head. And they've put that on top of a really sort of thick, creamy backing, which is well constructed in that, again, reminds me a lot of the way that the production was done on Conqueror by Band-Maid, but also by other bands. Get this feeling that all the sounds seem to be genuinely generated by the musicians. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly synthetic in there, but the production is getting the most out of everything. Like, you've got the guitars in the background. Obviously, you have your normal rhythm guitar, but you also have these rather spacious, sort of sparse-sounding lead guitar bits and just sort of higher-end sounds, which are filling everything up. A lot of sort of reverby, not echoey, but very just like a spacious sounding bits of production on the instruments, along with a nice solid drum beat. The drum beat was, again, like I say, was more about being impactful and notable rather than being particularly challenging or technical or anything like that. And the same could be said for the bass line as well. It was all very much I think a lot of the technical twiddle that you get in other bands here was made way for, and what filled in the space, like I say, was a good quality production and a impactful sort of style of writing. I think that is something that often some people look down on, but I actually think, again, ultimately anything that makes a sound that is enjoyable is good. It doesn't matter how technical it is. And I think that is a very valid way of doing things, because it's like intentionally, if this was a very twiddly song, if someone had really decided to really fill in every second with interesting runs and scales and everything, then you wouldn't have been able to produce that big spacious sound. So I do think that the restraint that went into the writing and playing was, a valid technical choice there. And I think that leaves you with a sense that this is a song that, like I say, is catchy melodically, certainly has an interesting sound, but I wonder how much replay value it will have. And I say that because, as I pointed out, the bridge was very good, very solid, but didn't really add anything to the song. It kind of just sort of went around in a similar theme to what we'd heard before. The backing is really, really engagingly well produced, but pretty much, as I say, again, sets up that nice sound and sticks to it throughout. And the melody, again, it's really good, but it kind of sticks to a similar thing throughout. So I wonder, is this one of those songs where when you listen to it repeatedly, you just kind of slip into it like a trance, and because it does have that wonderful soundscape. You can imagine just slipping into this song in almost like a trance-like state every time you hear it, and just sort of letting it wash over you. Or whether it's something where after a while it will just become repetitive. I'm really interested to know, and this is one where I'll definitely give it a few more listens just out of interest, and just to be honest, because I just really like the sound. I like the way it's written. You've got good production, good melody. Whatever happens elsewhere, you're probably going to be 99% of the way there. So this was a great song, like I say, written with, I think, knowing restraint, good production, nice melody. Mentioned all those things before. I just, like I say, if I were to pick any negative points, it would maybe be that I don't think the band seemed to have forged a sound that I would quite say is identifiable yet. And I would perhaps say that there is a risk, again, not one that I can even confirm at this point, a risk that maybe this song could not have as much replay value as perhaps is potentially available from adding a little bit more of maybe more of an interesting bridge. But then again, like I say, the fact that everything rolls around, that kind of could give it an addictive quality. I don't know. Anyway, this is my initial thoughts, and I think this is one of those rare examples where I think you'd really have to sort of learn to live with this song a little bit to see if it all the good qualities rise to the surface or not. I, though, definitely will be listening to it again just out of enjoyment, I think, because that was a really good first listen. Video, I was hoping for a little bit more of a interesting video to go with that, because they are an interesting band. They certainly have a really good stage performance vibe from what I've seen. They've got a good presentation. However, budgets are what budgets are, and so going for a lyric video, it was good as lyric videos go. So I think this was an interesting one. I'm really interested to see what you guys think now. So please, as always, get in the comments, tell me your opinions. Try to justify them as well, because it's all about discussion. No one's right or wrong. It's just all opinions. That's what makes art and music especially such a beautiful thing. And of course, if you would like to like, subscribe, or follow any of the social media links linked in the description below, that is greatly appreciated. A big thank you to our patrons for keeping this channel going. I say it because it's true. And thank you for making it through to the end of this video. So, for now from Japan, until I hopefully see you here soon for the next one of these, ciao ciao.